There are moments caught on tape that just don't have an explanation. I'm not talking about strange light or weird shadows, but moments where the world as we know it seems to completely fall apart. These 10 clips were never meant for the public eye, and each one captures a moment where the curtain of normalcy is violently ripped away, from giant mutant creatures showing up on CCTV to the bone chilling cruelty of humans. This collection is proof that our world is way more terrifying than you think. The Peanut Vendor. We will start with something that isn't gory or ghostly, but is somehow even more unsettling. Back in 1933, an avant-garde filmmaker named Len Lai created a stop-motion animation called The Peanut Vendor. It's a jerky, puppet-like monkey dancing to a popular jazz tune. The movements are unnatural, the design is bizarre, and the whole thing is deeply unnerving. At the time, it was called experimental and innovative. Today, viewers just call it creepy. It's the uncanny valley in its most raw, vintage form. Was this some quirky art project, or was it an accidental glimpse into the future of mechanical, soulless madness? It feels less like a cartoon and more like a warning, broadcast from the past that somehow knew about the darkness just around the corner. The highway landing. Imagine you are driving on the interstate during rush hour, probably the most boring part of your day. Then, all of a sudden, the sky screams with the roar of an engine that's way too close. In July 2022, drivers on I-40 in North Carolina saw exactly that. Footage shows an Aero Commander single engine making an emergency landing, somehow weaving between cars on the sparse highway. The pilot's engine had completely failed, and there was nothing else to land. For a few heart-stopping moments, the world of air travel and ground travel collided in a slow-motion nightmare. Miraculously, nobody was seriously injured, but the tape is a gut-punch reminder of just how thin the line is between a normal commute and a total disaster. A few feet in either direction, and this would be a story of tragedy, not a miracle. The bicycle incident. Some horrors aren't supernatural. They are deeply and terrifyingly human. This piece of footage comes from the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood of East Jerusalem during a period of intense clashes in August 2023. The clip itself is short and absolutely brutal. In it, an Israeli man on a bicycle is seen intentionally riding directly into a young Palestinian child named Tarif Alul. The raw footage captures a moment of pure, sickening attempt to violence, where any sense of normalcy just evaporates. It's a stark image of innocence colliding with targeted aggression, a split-second event that says more about generations of conflict than any news report ever could. It leaves you grappling not with ghosts, but with the chilling reality of human cruelty. The Apocalyptic Celebration in Tultepec, Mexico in 2018, a chain reaction at a fireworks market triggered a massive explosion that killed 24 people. The footage shows a normal day, then boom, one explosion, then another one. A chain reaction that turned the entire market into inferno within seconds. You can see people running, screaming, trying to escape the blast that keep coming. Fire consumes stalls, debris flies everywhere. The smoke is so thick that you can barely see what's happening. The tape reveals a terrifying power we have backed into objects of celebration and the horrific price of human error. It's a reminder that sometimes the party is happening right on top of a time bomb. The Townhouse Scandal. Some places are just stained by the evil things that happened there. The New York townhouse of the infamous predator Jeffrey Epstein is one of them. Footage surfaced showing Catherine Keating, the daughter of former Australian Prime Minister, leaving the infamous building back in December 2010. And who's standing in the doorway, watching her leave? Prince Andrew. The video resurfaced in 2019 amid the Epstein scandal. And while Keating has never been accused of wrongdoing and hasn't commented publicly, the footage is damning in its implications. Let's be perfectly clear. This footage proves absolutely no wrongdoing on her part. The horror isn't in someone leaving a building. The horror is the building itself. This tape is a ghostly, tangible link to a place the world now knows was a center of unimaginable evil. When you watch it, you aren't seeing a crime. You're watching someone walk away from a location that feels haunted by the documented cruelty that took place inside its walls. If these stories are leaving you as unsettled as they leave me, take a second to subscribe, because the tapes we have coming up are only going to get more disturbing. The Backseat torture chamber. The back of a police car is supposed to be a place of processing and authority, but for one man in Arkansas, it became a torture chamber. This horrifying dashcam footage from 2024 shows a Jonesboro Police Department officer brutally assaulting a man wearing a hospital gown who was being handcuffed in the back of his cruiser. What makes it even more horrific is that the man was suffering a fentanyl overdose during the attack. Whatever led to the arrest, the footage captured a complete and terrifying abuse of power. The officer was eventually on the verge of being fired, but the tape is a chilling testament to the terror of being completely helpless, at the mercy of someone who swore an oath to protect you. It turns a symbol of law and order into the setting of a real-life horror film. The Candy Rejection. Sometimes the most chilling moments are the quietest. In 2004, during a heated presidential election in Ukraine, a camera caught a brief, seemingly tiny interaction. The pro-Russia candidate Viktor Yanukovych offers something, reportedly candy, to Vladimir Putin. Putin gives a cold, almost invisible shake of his head, a rejection. At the time, it was just an awkward moment. Seems innocent enough, right? Just a guy who doesn't want the candy. But years later, internet theories exploded. Was it paranoia? Did Putin suspect poisoning? Was he always this cautious? Or did he know something? Here's the thing. There is zero evidence of any poisoning plot. None. But the moment itself has become this weird, unsettling piece of political folklore. What makes it creepy isn't what happened, it's what we imagine could have happened. The idea that even a simple gesture, like sharing candy, becomes this calculated, potentially deadly game when you are dealing with that level of power. The Appalachian Wildman. The deep, ancient forests of Appalachia have always been filled with stories about things that live in the shadows. This piece of footage seems to bring one of those stories to life. The shaky clip shows a large, hairy, two-legged figure moving through the trees. It looks a lot like countless Bigfoot sightings. So, is it a person in a suit? A bear that looks weird because of the shadows and shaky camera? Almost certainly. There's no verifiable evidence that it's anything else. But the power of this footage isn't about whether it's real, it's about the terrifying possibility it represents. The idea that we might not be at the top of the food chain, that there are still corners of the world where ancient predators or feral things could be hiding just beyond our view. That's a deeply unsettling thought. The footage might be a hoax, but the fear it taps into is very real. The withdrawing sea on March 11, 2011, a massive 9 magnitude earthquake hit off the coast of Japan. But the most terrifying footage from that day wasn't of the ground shaking, it was of what the sea did next. The coastal towns like Otsuchi. Cameras captured the ocean just vanishing. The water pulled back for miles, exposing the seafloor and leaving boats stranded on dry land. It was an eerie and horrifying sight because everyone knew what was coming next. The ocean wasn't disappearing, it was gathering its strength. Minutes later, waves, some nearly 40 meters high, came roaring back, swallowing entire towns and ultimately killing almost 20,000 people. This footage is like watching a monster take a deep breath before it screams. The silence is so much more terrifying than the roar you know is coming. Giant mutants caught on CCTV. Our final entry isn't just one tape, but a whole collection of bizarre glitches in our reality. All over the world, CCTV cameras, our unblinking electronic eyes, have been catching things that simply shouldn't exist. A creature that looks like a giant flying fox walking over a street, a giant cricket insect-like crawling at the side of a building, what appears to be a giant lobster creeping on the roof of a house, and many others. Now, individually, each of these clips is almost definitely a hoax, a misidentified bird, or just a clever digital edit. But the sheer number of these impossible apparitions, all caught on the very technology we use to watch our normal world, makes you ask a terrifying question. Are these just fakes made for internet clicks? Or the walls of our reality are starting to get thin? It suggests that reality is far stranger and more fragile than we think, where anything, at any time, anywhere, it can happen. From the cruelty in the human heart to the depths of the ocean, these tapes show us that nightmares are real. Of these 10 tapes, which one will stick with you the most? Let me know your theories on what was really going on in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more nightmare fuel. And if you are brave enough, check out the next video.